Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. It is a new year, so Happy New Year. This is the first show in 2022, and we are happy to see you. We have a lot of news to get to you, and we're going to start with the Jackson County School Board's new redistricting map.
And Happy New Year, everyone. And for national news, we're going to talk about how the White House highlights efforts to cover winter heating bills.
And then we'll switch to sports and talk about the upcoming college football national championship game with the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Georgia Bulldogs.
And for entertainment, the first Black actor to win Best Actor Academy Award dies at 94, Sidney Poitier.
And then we'll switch to our relationship tea segment. We'll talk about new resolutions or not. Do you have one or do you not have one? So, Byron, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and start with the Jackson County School Board redistricting map. They have a new one. They met this past week and came up with a map that is different from the county commissioners. I'll let our president, Linda Franklin of the Jackson County NAACP, explain what happened.
The Jackson County School Board held its special meeting on Wednesday, January the 5th at 3 p.m., where there were two maps presented for consideration. Map 1 was drawn up by Tony Pumphrey. Map 2 was drawn up by Matt Fuqua. Map 1 was voted down by the board. Map 2 was accepted and voted in by 4-1. We all came away with an agreement that this map would be acceptable for all the above.
So, Byron, as she stated, there were a couple of maps presented, and they all agreed on one. And I did reach out to Nicholas Warren also, who is the attorney from the ACLU, who has helped the Jackson County School Board as well as the county commissioners. And this is what he had to say the difference was between the two.
The map that the school board adopted this week and the map that the county commission passed last month share large overlap and similarities, but there are several key differences, which I'll highlight. Focusing on District 1, in the map that the school board adopted, in the Graceville area, it continues to be divided between Districts 1 and 2, with the north half of Graceville north of Route 2 remaining in District 1, and the south half of Graceville in District 2. There is an area of Graceville south of Route 2 that's currently in District 1 that's mostly moved into District 2 in the school board map. The area of Graceville in the county commission map, in contrast, moves all of the Graceville area over to Browntown Road into District 2. Elsewhere, looking around District 1 in the school board map, the areas around Ellis Church and Ellis and Sills, in between Campbellton and Malone, are in the school board's map in District 5, whereas those areas are in District 1 in the county commission map all the way over to Friendship Church Road, almost to Malone. Elsewhere around Cottondale, the county commission map continues to use US 90 over to the Cottondale city limits as the boundary between 1 and 2, with the city of Cottondale in District 2 and the area just outside over toward Marianna in District 1. But in the map adopted by the school board, the boundary skirts a little bit further outside of the Cottondale city limits, so that the fringe a little bit beyond Cottondale is moved into District 2. Elsewhere, there are parts of Marianna that are most of looking at Marianna, generally in both maps for County Commission and School Board, everything in between the Dothan Cutoff and 90 to the north and South Street to the south, all the way over to McPherson Street, is moved into District 1 in both maps. But in the school board map, there are some blocks along Pearl Street and South Street, that area, that are remaining in District 3. Additionally, in the county commission map, there's a larger portion of Mariana over to Green Street and south of South Street, almost down to Woodbury Road, that are moved into District 1.
So, Byron, as you heard, there is quite a difference between the Jackson County School Board's map as well as the county commissioner's map. Your thoughts?
Okay, well, I know there was a big push for those citizens in Gracefield where they wanted to keep it, where they had two schools represented by two different school board members, so it was almost like they had two representations. So that's a plus. That's honoring what the majority of the people wanted. I have to look at it and look at that map a little further to see if they stuck with the lines the way the county has regarding District 5, because for a lot of us in the Two Egg area, that would put us in District 1 now. But yeah, I think the hiccup between the county and the school board was, basically the school board is trying to meet their lines are more based upon schools and school representation, where the counties their focus is a little different. So it's good to see that they're not going too far away, because we don't want voters to be confused when it come election time. And I'm happy that they're going further with it, because election season is coming up. Qualifying dates, for those that aren't aware of what that means, for those that may want to run for offices, they have to sign up and apply by a certain date. And for a lot of people that's still in limbo without knowing where district lines will be, it'll happen hopefully sooner than that qualifying date. Do we know, Ronnie, when it will go before the courts? Do we know any time?
Well, I'm not sure about what's happening with the county commissioners, but with the school board, they're going to meet again. It's been approved, but they have to do resolutions. I'm pretty sure the county commissioners also have to do resolutions before it goes before the courts. And so we'll keep an eye out on it. But the map is there, Byron. We'll make sure we place the map on our Facebook page, and I'll have to take a look at it a little closer as well as you. But you can see how the old lines are in blue, and then of course you can see how it overlaps with the new one and see the difference just by kind of glancing at it. But we'll post that. We'll post the entirety of the interview with Nicholas Warren, who's the attorney from the ACLU, who's helped both, as I mentioned before, the Jackson County School Board as well as the county commissioners. So, yeah. But good thing that the school board did come to some type of agreement on a map, because, like you said, like President Franklin said, there were two maps presented, and they chose one.
Good to go.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our next. I want to talk a little bit about the Mariana City Commission. I'll just mention that, they were up for redrawing their lines as well, but they voted 5-0 to keep the lines as is. So there will be no change in the city of Mariana regarding the districting lines. So everything stays the same. And I do want to mention, I'm going to jump back to the school board. When they took the vote was 4-1. The school board member Humphrey is the one that voted against choosing the map that they chose. So
okay. I think he presented. I think he had a map.
He had a map, yes. So he had a map, and then the other map was drawn up by their attorney, Matt Fuquay. So they went with the map that Matt Fuquay presented. So as I said before, Mariana City Commission will not be changing anything, and they will, revisit, I guess, in the next 10 years. And then I want to go ahead and move on to COVID numbers. We are, looking at an upswing in numbers, largely due to probably the holidays, Byron, gathering. And Jackson County right now is looking at about 300 and think it's 376 active cases that the health department is monitoring. That's 376 active cases. They currently, as of today, Saturday, the 8th of January, have 2 in the hospital at Jackson Hospital, none of which are on vents. So that is good, Byron. So, you and I have talked about this. We kind of expected this, Byron, that there will be an increase in numbers. And I do want to mention that we do have numbers for, vaccination status for Jackson County, Byron. If you're 5 and over, you're eligible to get, the vaccination. So for that stat, 5 and over, 1 dose, the percentage of people in Jackson County is 52.1% have at least 1 dose. 43.7% have both doses, and then 29.7% have the booster. So that's what we're looking at as far as the numbers. And then I'll mention Washington County, 1 dose, 40.3%, with 1 dose, 2 doses, 33%, and then the booster, 28.2%. And then Calhoun County, 1 dose, 41.4%, 2 doses, 35%, and then the booster, 27.9%, Byron. So that's where we are with that. I was hoping we could have got a little bit higher, but we're not.
Yeah. Yeah, that and I'm due to get my booster later on this month. So hopefully things will pick up. But yeah, this is get vaccinated and try to the best we can,
That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Yeah. I do want to bring to you that the local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located at 2867 Caledonia Street in Marietta. You can get property insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, any insurance needs you may have. Give TD and his staff a call at 850-633-3460. That's 850-633-3460. And that is Brightway Insurance. And I'm going to mention the legislative delegation meeting that took place this past week as well. What that is where you have your state representative, which is Brad Drake, and your senator, George Gaynor. They make rounds to each county and they hear the legislative requests from their constituents. And so he was here, or both of them were here this past week on Tuesday, and they heard what was needed. And I'll just kind of, give you some of the things that were asked for. Most notably, our school board asked for $4 million, Byron, to renovate the old Marietta High School. They want to make it kind of like they want to make it like a district office where everything is kind of centrally located there. So they want to renovate the old high school. So they asked for $4 million. They also asked for $1 million to help renovate Riverside Elementary School, because I don't know if you know this, but Hope School is planning to move there at the old Riverside Elementary School. Byron, what do you think about that? Yeah. So that's what's happening there. And then they also asked for $5 million. They want to move the bus barn, all the food service operation closer to Marietta K-8. So they want to have a facility there that will house basically all of those operations near the Marietta K-8. So they asked for quite a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, and then Chipola asked for money as well for
yeah. Chipola asked for money for the HVAC system. They asked for $8 million for their HVAC system. Of course, the county asked for money, $1.1 million for 2 fire trucks they want to replace. And so this is what you do. This is what happens. Sneeds ask for money, but this is where all the asks are made. So to break it down Barney style for people, old devil dogs like myself, anything that you're wanting, these representatives, this is the time and the place to go and present your case, and they'll present it to on the legislative. You remember those old schoolhouse rock days where they show you how a bill is made. Pretty much in that same fashion, they address it, bring it up to the various committees. If it
passes to go before, to make it as a bill, and it goes through the process, have to make it through the House, has to make it through the Senate, goes through the governor's desk, and if it gets signed and okayed, then a lot of these things go through.
Same thing with
but
the ask. Yeah.
But a lot of things, just being in the room a lot of times is the main focus. And I saw another one. I think I forgot the young lady's name, but I think she was asking for like 400K plus for the autism center that's supposed to be at the Endeavor property.
Well, they were asking for money for the to help with that Next Step Academy, which will house the autism students. And that
seems like the only thing that kind of got a reaction, a more positive reaction. But I'm not to say that any of these other things may not come about, but hey, the key to it is you ask, you be there and you ask, and that's how it gets made. Any other time, it's hard to get up with these representatives, because once they get in the session, they're locked in, and most of them are part of 3 or 4 committees, so they're you won't be able to get in contact with them pretty much until April-May time frame. So
and they go on legislation. They go in legislation on January the 11th. And Byron, we're going to have Senator George Gaynor on our show probably towards the end of the month. He's agreed to do it, and and we'll be able to ask him, exactly run us through how this all happens. But I do know it's not just going before them when they come to your county. You also submit paperwork outlining your projects. You have to give the amount, you have to give the details of what it entails, and then you submit your paperwork, the form, to the Senate as well as to the House. So it's not just going before them, but it is good if you're present. When they come to your county, you put a face with your paper. And so that's what this is all about. And you say, hey, we're submitting this form. These are the projects that we have, and we would like for you to take a look at them, and hopefully, float money our way to get these projects funded. Yeah.
So that's good news.
Yeah. So that's good. So, but I want to make sure people understand that. And like I said, we'll have Senator George Gaynor on the show, and we'll basically let him talk to us about what he thinks is going to be funded here in Jackson County. Okay. All right. Well, again, I want to mention that local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located in Marianna. You can call them at 850-633-3460 and ask for TD Horn and his staff and get all of your insurance needs taken care of. Okay. All right. What we have for national news, Byron?
So for national news, before I begin, People's Funeral Home, because they care and they're there when you need them. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offer services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7, and when the need arises, their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233, or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So my first story is I'm going to talk about how the White House highlights efforts to cover winter heating bills. Now, I know us Florida residents, it's mainly for those real cold areas, but not so much for Florida residents. So the Biden administration is distributing an additional $4.5 billion in funds to help low-income Americans cover heating costs during a second pandemic winter, with cold weather states receiving the largest share, according to state-by-state breakdown released this past Friday. So the funding boost, part of last year's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan coronavirus relief package, more than doubled the normal funding level of low-income home energy assistance programs. So these funds, they represent a large appropriation in a single year since the program was established in 1981. So it's a lot of money. States like Minnesota will receive nearly $274 billion in home energy assistance. Meanwhile, Texas, which has a population about 5 times larger, will receive $10 million more. New York State, with a population less than 20 million people, compared to Texas, received 29 million. Edgewater received under 876 million. So President Biden announced these commitments from 7 major utility companies across the country to guarantee no shutoffs for customers seeking assistance, and to identify and notify recipients eligible for government aid.
That's
So
really good.
Florida, yeah. So that's a good thing that they're trying to do. Although the pushback from Republican lawmakers is that the overall relief package, which was signed into law by President Biden back in March, has caused higher levels of inflation by pumping too much money into the economy. So that's how the other side looks at it, and it was something that was going to happen, because basically when we started talking about inflation, is basically printing more money. When you print more money, it devalues the dollar. But what else can you do? And
what do you do? Yeah.
Once in 100-year pandemic.
Right.
So needless to say, this is coming. So that's good news. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's great, especially in those areas where it's freezing cold and people are really struggling financially.
Yeah, you don't want that same deal to happen in Texas like it did. It was last year when the power went out and and pipes was busting all over the state, and that was a big mess.
A disaster. That's what it was. Yeah. So that is good news for, like I said, those areas that are in severely cold temperatures and need the finances.
Yeah. So the caveat on your story about COVID, the CDC drops breaking news about COVID vaccinated people and serious illness vulnerabilities. So CDC drops news about vaccinated people. Officials reveal that every vaccinated participant who endured serious COVID-19 outcomes as part of a new study of more than 1 million people had at least one risk factor that left them vulnerable. The CDC research has been published this week, and it's provided further evidence that COVID-19 vaccines protect people who are getting them. Just 189 people experienced various outcomes as a result. So just 189 people experienced these outcomes out of more than 1.2 million who get their primary vaccination series between December 2020 and October 2021. So the risk factors include being aged 65 and older, being immunocompromised, or having underlying conditions involving pulmonary disease, liver disease, chronic kidney disease, neurologic disease, diabetes, or cardiac disease. So that's kind of stuff that we kind of already knew, but in more of the breaking news, controversial issues that you might have been seeing all over news lately, even the interviews with Joe Rogan about the medicines and different things that they're taking, that not much is happening with those, trials that people were trying early on, but for sure, those are the top, factors that are affecting people that have the COVID-19 vaccines, and out of that 1.2 million, you have a small percentage that seems like almost 10%, well less than 10%, 189 people experiencing outcomes, but they have underlying conditions. So it's despite what naysayers are saying, it's still good.
It was more beneficial. Yeah. Yes. Well, that's what I was saying. So the bottom line is, they were saying it's more beneficial for you to have the vaccine than not.
Yes.
Especially if you have some type of underlying condition, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's the bottom line.
So trust the medical experts. It's no controversy there. So, and my next story may be a little shocking or scary to some people, and may be good news for others. Walmart is vastly expanding its straight to your fridge service as grocery delivery war with Amazon, Instacart, and DoorDash heats up. So hear me out. Walmart is setting up a grocery delivery service where they actually come into your home and put your groceries in your refrigerator. right?
I
So
don't know about that, Byron.
I'm skeptical on that one too. But
Yeah.
Walmart is gonna go hard. So the thing is that they're gonna provide the Walmart employees with body cams, so that and it'll be an app that you download, and so you'll see them actually coming to your home and deliver. Now, me personally, I think that would be a good idea for those that may be like myself, like my family. Will travel and we don't always stay in hotels. We'll rent houses. So in that aspect, if we pay for that service, so groceries and stuff like that to get put into the home before we get there, while we're on the road, that would be something cool, because you wouldn't steal anything.
I see that, but
You
I can
see,
see that,
but
not
outside
when
of just
you're home and you're. I mean, just leave it at the door. I mean, I'm cool with that. Just leave the grocery at the door. You don't necessarily have to. But on the flip side, for those, individuals with health issues now and elderly people, that will be beneficial for them.
Yeah,
I can see that.
So,
but you still have to have Walmart got to have some type of liability, because you can't.
They can't
hire anybody to do that.
Yeah, they're leaving themselves wide open for vicarious liability all day. And what their statement they're making is that they actually said, we have found it is a perfect solution for customers who want to live their lives without worrying about making it to the store or being home to accept a delivery. So I get that, I get.
But
what
how you
they're
get
trying
in
to do.
if you're not home? How are they going to get in?
That's the thing that they have. It's going to be an app called the In-Home app. That and this is going to be a service. Now, this is not going to be like you'd have to actually pay so much a month. So customers can also buy a smart lock from In-Home for $49.95. So in that app, you give access to the Walmart employee to get that. They'll get your code, and then they'll be able to come in. It's a one-time code, and the code changes every time, but the code will change. You give them the code, they can come in, they'll record themselves coming in and putting the groceries in, so you can see the whole process. And then
wait, Byron, hold on, let me stop you. So is it like a lockbox where you have a code to the box and the keys in there? I mean, because I'm just saying, like, everyday person that have a door, there's a key. So is it? I mean, I don't understand that process. How you do that?
Yeah, this is more geared towards people that have those those smart homes and those systems that.
So that leave the common person out.
Yeah. So
that leave us out, because we can't.
It ain't gonna be no lock balls. You get the key and it ain't gonna be that type of deal. So because in the same retrospect, it's a way for them to kind of it'll be a monthly fee for the In-Home app, and all of that is tied in together. So I don't know about that one. This might be one of those ideas that they're kind of swinging for the fences, and but
because it doesn't meet your everyday Walmart shopper, because everyday Walmart shopper don't have a smart home. Like, most people I know, you have a key and a doorknob, so you don't have the smart home to be able to be compatible with what you're saying with this type of setup, right? And
then what I don't think that they're taking into account is they're kind of losing sight of how they actually started, and those consumers haven't went anywhere. They're still true to Walmart. Right. So like you say, that the lower income, the middle class folks, just out of simple mindset, I don't want nobody all up in my house,
Well, that's
just And then most people are the same folks that live around you, and then you don't want nobody just up in your home like that.
And you definitely ain't going to my refrigerator.
No.
So
I don't care if they do got a camera on them, So but that's the shot in the wind. So they're trying to compete with the DoorDashes and all, and Amazon Fresh. So we'll see where that goes.
But Amazon and DoorDash, they're not doing that, right? I didn't think they were. Okay, so they just trying to be a step ahead. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So, and before I end, it's People's Funeral Home. I want to mention them because we care. We're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home. People's Funeral Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7, and when the need arises, their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home.
All right, let's go to sports. As most of you know, Jackson County hosted the Milton H. Johnson Invitational last week, which was the week after Christmas. And it was very good. All 5 high schools participated. You have schools from Alabama, Georgia, and it was a great experience. I got a chance to attend all 5 days. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I didn't attend all the games, but I have some pictures here you can see. But
yeah, me either.
But I did attend, a couple of games each day, and it was a great experience. That's how I remember when I was in high school. They had that, Christmas tournament, or the week after, the holiday tournament, I should call it. And it was just great to have all 5 schools, participating. And one thing did happen. FAMU was supposed to be one of the schools that participated, and they pulled out, I'm told, because of COVID protocol. And so Bethlehem was substituted to play one day in their spot. And then the last day, what was people hoped to happen was Mariana was to play FAMU. However, since FAMU pulled out, they were hoping that, it was Malone. Malone was supposed to play FAMU, and FAMU pulled out. So that left an open spot, and they were hoping that Mariana would pull in and play, but that didn't happen. So people were kind of a little bit disappointed in that, Byron. But Mariana had already, committed to a tournament in Georgia, and they didn't change it, and so they went on to participate in that tournament. But people were a little disappointed that they couldn't see that Malone-Mariana rivalry at Chipola. The Invitational was taking place at Chipola, huge facility, especially for high school sports. So there you go.
Yeah, I missed. I think I missed daggum every game of the tournament. It's just bad timing, work, and stuff like that got kind of tied in it. So
it was fun though.
We really wanted to go, but we're gonna definitely try to catch.
Hopefully they'll have it next year. Yeah, it was sponsored by the Optimist Club as well as the Jackson County School Board. So great idea. It was awesome. Kudos to both organizations for having it, and I think Mariana High School was the host school as well. So kudos to everybody that was involved. Great idea. I hope they keep it going. Now, it was held at Chipola. I'm gonna go on this Chipola trip. So Chipola is here in our backyard, but do you know Chipola really recruits from our high schools? Byron, I have 2 names that Chipola recruited, and that is Cruz Pinker, and I'm told that was in 2010, and then Antoine Johnson, which is your cousin, right?
Yep, that's my
Antoine
cousin.
Johnson. And so what year was that? Do you know?
Ooh, don't put me on the spot. I'd have to look.
But he's out of Malone.
That's been a while, because
he's
out of Malone.
High School.
That's the thing. It seems like, and I don't want to seem like a negative Nancy, but when it comes to Chipola, it's kind of, even though they're located in Mariana, Jackson County, they kind of they kind of stood on their own a little bit, because it's far few in between where local real high talented local athletes don't get picked at Chipola.
But is that right? I mean, I shouldn't say right or wrong, but is that good?
I don't think that's good, and I don't think that's good. As well as a lot of our schools, like for instance, Mariana Malone, very big game. It's always a big turnout. But it doesn't, like at Malone, it can't even hold up. I would hope that those Mariana Malone games sometime at Chipola would hold a lot more people, and it helps the local schools. Even pro team, I would like to see more. I would like to see
more
a lot recruiting. A lot more recruiting, and a lot of more community engagement with those players, and within the local community. Come out to these schools and talk to these kids, and a lot more recruiting with we're not asking you to just give a local player a shot, but hey, we've got some top prospects even now. We got some.
The kid from Mariana, I think he's the point guard. I don't know his name, but he's really good. I watched him, play during the tournament, and I think he deserves a shot. But Chipola, for whatever reason, it seems like they just don't look at any of the talent here locally. And I think the Appreciation Club, the boosters, wherever their names are, they should say something. I really do. We have a lot of local boosters here that, support Chipola. And I think they should say something. And it's not even just limited to the boys. The girls don't recruit here either.
Softball, baseball.
Now I will say softball and baseball, they do better. They do. Yeah. Because I know they just recruited one of the young ladies from Marion High School. Chipola softball team did. So Chipola softball and baseball, they do. But basketball for girls and boys, I mean, it is not even on the table to look at the talent here. And I think the coaches, they need to, have a heart-to-heart with those coaches and say, hey, what's the problem? Why are you not even looking at it? Because ideally, even just one scholarship, I think, should be reserved for a player from Jackson County each year, at least one. Yeah. At least one. So I'm hoping whoever sees this can go back and tell them that, that's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Because like right I said, now, I mean, it's crazy. I'm not saying 2010. How many years ago was that? 12?
12 years.
That's crazy.
It's very far few in between. And that's not saying that that's the only like high end talent. I if you're looking for 7-footers and 6'9" and 6'10", I mean, you probably won't get that in Jackson County, but it's real good talent.
It is some talent. But like I said, the kid from Mariana, that's the point guard.
Yeah,
know his name, type in the chat box so I can know his name. But I forgot. I know his name, but I forgot it. But that kid needs a look from Chipola.
Yeah.
He doesn't, it doesn't make sense that these guys have to go to other junior colleges. We have one right here in the county. That's ridiculous.
I dare say beyond sports. I don't know what the data is, whether with their drama and with other scholarships that they provide, but I dare say all the other, not just in sports, but any other scholarships that they provide, I dare say those too.
All right, I need to move on because the clock is ticking. So we'll stay in the college ramble. I want to hit on FAMU Marquise Bell. He's been invited to the NFL Columbine. We talked about him earlier, last year, I should say. And so the Columbine is March the 1st to the 7th, and he has been invited. So kudos for Marquise Bell, which is a FAMU football player. And then speaking of college, we do have the upcoming national championship for college football, the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Georgia Bulldogs. So who do you have, Byron?
So I'm not an Alabama fan. If I put it this, I want Georgia to win, but if I had to put money on, if I had to bet, I would bet on Alabama because they just seem to always especially with Georgia. Georgia just always they get to that point and then I don't know what happens to them. So if I had to put money on it, I'd go with Alabama, but I want to see Georgia win.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want Georgia to win too, and I have a couple of reasons. I think Georgia is coming off of a great win over Michigan in that Orange Bowl. They held their offense to 320 something yards. They had 4 sacks and 3 takeaways. So
both. I mean, SEC teams, you gotta, very rare where you'll see teams out of those other conferences just come in and beat. That's a tough conference. These the Southern boys, and they
collard greens, cornbread boys.
Yeah, and they basically like almost, I dare say you could put Alabama up against some pro teams out there and they might give them a run. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to come with it. It's a lot more finesse in the other conferences, whether it's real ground pound, strong cornbread fed boys that get it in. So
but that's my first reason. The win that they've had over Michigan, so they're fired up. Especially their defense. Like I said, they had only allowed 320 some yards. They had those 4 sacks and they had the 3 takeaways. But my next reason is because you have the mentor against the student. The mentor Nick Saban against Kirby Smart. He was the student. He was with Alabama for like 9 years. So I think Kirby Smart, is hungry. I think the team is hungry because, of course, Georgia lost in the SEC championship to Alabama. They did lose. However, they're hungry because they lost. They're hungry because they have not won a national championship since 1980. So all three combined, Kirby is like 0-4 against Nick Saban. Like I said, they lost in the SEC championship, and they have not won a national championship since 1980. All that combined, they're hungry. So that's the other reason. I think they're like, okay, let's get it together. Let's pull this off. So
he may pull another Jimbo. Jimbo was the only one.
So that game is scheduled for Monday, which is the 11th. No, Monday is the 10th. We're the 10th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That game is in Indianapolis. And is that going to be aired on CBS? I think is it CBS game? I have to look it up.
I think so. I think they got all.
But be sure, it's a big deal. College football national championship is a big deal. So again, you have the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm taking Georgia, the underdog, and Byron is taking them too. Although I think he's taking them more so because he just don't want Alabama to win.
Yeah.
All right. One quick thing. Antonio Brown, real quick. I got 40 seconds. Antonio Brown, the bit, walk off the field, took my shirt off. He's mad, upset. People took different sides, saying he should not have done what he did. Antonio Brown is from the Tampa Bay. The story is his coach told him to get the F out of here, and Antonio did just that with a lot of pomp and circumstance, Byron. That's what happened. You have to know your kids.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say is, I've had a history where I blew up and go off on people, and my rebuttal will always be, well, I bet you they won't do that again. But at the same time, you gotta have some discipline about things. And Antonio Brown, he's person that's made the money, had the success he's had. There's ego involved. He's at that point in his career where he's not
Byron,
top,
he has issues.
Top dog no more.
We already know he's had mental issues now.
But he ain't that mental. I'm not saying
he's a mental case. I'm just saying he's had some mental issues. We all know that. So my point is, you got to know how to talk to your players. You got to know, just like you have to know how to talk to your kids. You don't talk to all of them the same. I think Nick Saban is the one that said, he's fair to everybody, but everybody's not equal. And that translates to he has to know how to treat each player. Basically, you reach them where they are. So you can tell another player, get the explicit out of here, you're done. And they just know you go sit in the locker room. But you can't say you're done, get the explicit out of here to Antonio Brown and think he's going to go to the locker room. No, he's leaving the field. He's leaving the game because you told him to leave.
Well, yeah,
so I don't understand why people don't get that part.
I get that, but he's a grown man. We're not talking about us.
I understand that, Byron. I get he's a grown man. You still know where this guy is. You still know where he is mentally.
Nobody has done in sports history. Well, see, that was another one. They might have done that to provoke him, to get him to act out in a way that's, right. And he got to be smarter than that.
But Byron, why would you even your team? At this point, I think they were losing. Antonio Brown is one of your top players. Why would you put yourself in that situation to even, if you're saying provoke him or antagonize him or whatever the case may be? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Nobody has come out and said anything.
Well, now Tom Brady, he didn't come out saying anything negative, but at the same time, when I look at it, he wanted him on the team. Nobody didn't want.
He wanted him on the team. Right.
He vouched for him, and then he turned around. So I don't know, and we don't really know the full story. I don't know if he was ticked off because he wasn't getting touches, and then he throw out by the ankle, because if his ankle was hurting like that, I wouldn't have been out playing in the first place. I wouldn't be, so I wouldn't have suited up, but he skipped across mighty fine across that field with a bad ankle. Yeah, but skipping
and taking hits are two different things. You can skip and jump down, but taking hits, that's a different thing. And cutting and pivoting, that's two different things.
Yeah, and knowing that in playing football, I know, when everybody plays injured, but when you start not getting, when things ain't going your way, then you start thinking about that injury. man, I ain't really my leg hurting right now, But when it's time for you to get them catches, get them plays, or you see it might be a game where you see the guy that's covering you, you might have a big game. Oh, you'll get out there. You'll bite the bullet on that paint. So I just think that was a bad move for him, because now he's put himself in a position where he might not get picked up from any team. He might prolong his him getting Hall of Fame. All these issues come into play. And if he got common sense to do one thing, and he like I said, he ain't just completely off the wall. Antonio Brown, I think, he definitely need to get some therapy and get some mental health assistance. But I think it's one of the moments where
I agree.
I think he went too far, and now
agree. But I'm just saying, as a player, as a coach, you got to know your players. You got to know you can't say everything to everybody the same way. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I got you.
All right. Now let's move on. All right. We're going to move on to our entertainment segment. What you got?
So for entertainment, got some bad news. Sidney Poitier, the first Black actor to win the Best Actor Academy Award, dies at 94. Bahamian officials have reported Sidney Poitier, who broke through racial barriers as the first Black winner of the Best Actor Oscar for his role in Lilies of the Field and inspired a generation during the Civil Rights Movement, has died at the age of 94. And it's sad to see him go, but he has a long list of accomplishments and awards. I remember watching the In the Heat of the Night when he this one of his famous lines is, "They called me Mr. Tibbs," and a lot of other movies that he's known for. They called me Mr. Tibbs in 1970. In the Heat of the Night movies, and then they did The Organization in 71, and then the series came out. So a lot of us, yep. A lot of people know I know a lot of us grew up watching that In the Heat of the Night. Our mothers turning them on, and we catching it every evening. So that was stemmed off of Sidney Poitier's character. And Raisins of the Sun, the Broadway play, Raisin in the Sun, he did those. So Uptown, Saturday Night, he produced those along with Stir Crazy, the movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. He had those movies that he did with Bill Cosby as well. So yeah, he has a long getting awards, everything from the the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's gotten so much, and people like Denzel Washington, all the way to every famous Black actor after him has paid homage and just thanked him for the role that he's paved for them. So
first Black male actor to win
Best Actor, award. Best Actor is one of those hard ones,
the very first Black actor to win. That's huge.
He was very dedicated in not taking the particular roles of that were given back in those times. He wanted to make sure that he had a role. It wasn't a shoe shine boy or train conductor or a maid. He wanted those roles that really meant something and changed
a real role. Yeah,
the image of the Black male. So but
I loved. He was married, I think twice, but he and Diane Carroll dated, and I love to see them together.
That was a cool couple. Yeah, he ended up. I think it said like six kids. Six daughters.
6 kids. Yeah, but he was like I said, this was his second marriage, his current wife. But he and Diane Carroll dated for almost like 9 or 10 years. So great.
6 daughters. Six daughters. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's gonna be remembered in the Hollywood for forever, because he paved the way for so many Black actors and actresses. So I think he did. Sidney Poitier, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So, and my next story, I really like to talk much about the whole Kardashian family, but Kim Kardashian is just come back from the Bahamas with her on a trip with the Saturday Night Live famous actor, what is his name? Pete Davidson. So these images showing them just getting back from their trip, wrapping up their brief and first vacation as a couple together. So despite what Kanye says, that they got they're a couple. The pair touched down in LA Wednesday after a quick pit stop in Miami. And the on a private jet helping, you can see Pete helping Kim into a waiting Mercedes-Benz. Interestingly, Pete didn't head home back to NYC after the vacation. He headed west with Kim instead.
So she's moved on.
Yeah, she's moved on,
moved
and
on.
also Kanye looks like he's moved on. So what's more, other than the bikini selfie that she posted in the Bahamas with him, Kanye's been with actress Julia Fox, first in Miami last weekend. So followed by a Tuesday night stop in New York City for a Broadway show. So looks like life is going on for everybody.
She moved on. So that's the best way to do it. Just move on.
Just move on.
Move on.
Yeah. So in my last story, legendary, I don't know how many people in the hip hop community know, but legendary DJ K Slay is now on life support.
I don't know him.
The rap world is throwing its support behind. Oh, you got. I guarantee if I play something, you'll recognize him. Because he was big in like early 90s, early 2000s. He was hosting, I want to say it was Hot 97 for a while. But he had a big run early 2000s with a couple of mixtapes that he did. I guarantee you'll know him. But the rap world is rallying behind him. Music producer and manager Wack 100 informed his 350K followers on Instagram that K Slay has been hospitalized for the past 2 weeks after contracting the novel coronavirus.
Oh, it's from COVID. Okay.
Yeah. So they conveyed that Slay's condition has deteriorated steadily and has been placed on a ventilator and is asking for prayers. So everybody from LL Cool J to Jay-Z, everybody is sending their support. He actually got his start as a graffiti artist, and then later ended up doing some time for drug possession and selling drugs, and then came back as a DJ, and then ended up being one of the most prolific DJs in the game in the early 90s. So everybody from the likes of 50 Cent, Eminem, Kid Capri, Foxy Brown, everybody. So yeah, LL Cool J sent positive vibes through Twitter, send strength to DJ K Slay, love you, bro. James Todd Smith. So yeah. So that's was prayers to DJ K Slay, and hopefully he pulls out of that. So but that's it for entertainment.
All right, we'll move on real quick with our next segment, which is our relationship tea segment. And today we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. So some people do it, some people don't. I don't. Do you, Byron?
I've gotten where I don't get too caught up in I guess we could say the fitness thing, because everybody does that. I'm gonna work out more. Yeah. So but me and my wife, we did say, hey, as far as lifestyle changes, we're trying to change from the traditional buying gifts, and spending more time traveling and making memories with our family. So that's our big one. We're like, man, we're gonna try to make more memories and not get so caught up in material things, because as parents, we want for our kids what we didn't have, but at the same time, we'll find ourselves kind of spoiling them, and then you wonder why they're so bad with money, or just think everything just
ungrateful.
Yeah, and then a lot of times with kids, after a couple hours after they got it, they don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah, it's over in the corner.
Yeah, and you find yourself making piles of boxes to go to Goodwill or trying to give it to somebody else, and it's so yeah, that's our biggest thing.
So you guys didn't make New Year's resolutions; you just kind of made
a lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change. That's good.
Yeah.
My family, we just we didn't make New Year's resolutions, but we just kind of told things that we would like to accomplish in the upcoming year, and or changes we would like to make, within ourselves, and we just just shared those among amongst each other. And so it wasn't New Year's resolutions, just kind of like, what can we do better to be better as individuals, and collectively, you know, what can we do better as a family? So that's what we did. So it wasn't a New Year's resolution, just kind of reflection, and evaluation, self-evaluation, just kind of see how can we be better, be better for each other and be better for ourselves. So I think that's how we do it. But some people do, you know, like New Year's resolutions. I think it's kind of like a thing kind of fading away, though. People are kind of getting away from that. It seems like I didn't see a whole lot of, you know, sometimes you can see stuff on social media. I didn't see a whole lot of, you know,
Posting,
New Year's resolutions. Did you? I didn't see.
Not really. I seen a lot of, you know, happy to make it, you know, to 2022 because it's been so crazy.
Grateful.
But not so much of the resolutions. I think everybody resolutions just happy to be here. And like
alive,
you say,
huh?
and just
really,
you know, just making it. But I'm like you, you know, I guess you could say instead of resolutions, you know, reflections. Because I said I was gonna start doing that when it came to my birthday, because you know, it seemed like 10 years went by so fast. You get so caught up in career, you get so caught up in your goals. And the next thing you know, you're like, well, what happened to the last 5 years? Because I slip up sometimes. People ask me how old I am, and I'm like, oh, hold on now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just take the time to reflect on what happened that year. What accomplishments you made. What did you learn from yourself and from things about yourself, and how could you make it better? Because we all have our moments, and you know, like I said, people follow me around 24/7 with a camera. You could paint me a lot of different ways. So so I want to make sure that camera, you know, in my mind is a lot better and a lot clearer. So self-reflection.
All right, self-reflection. That's what, and we encourage you to do the same. Self-reflect, self-evaluate, and just, you know, jot down what can you do better to make yourself better. Because when you make yourself better, you make those around you better. So, and we're not all perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're not gonna all get it right, but we can all strive and try. So that could be a catchphrase for this year. Strive and try. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah. All right. Bottom line of Roni and Byron is telling you to incorporate, strive, and try. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching us today. This is our first show for 2022. Again, we're happy to see you, and we want to thank you for your support, and we encourage you to continue to follow us on YouTube as well as Facebook, and we will air on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So if you miss us on Saturdays, be sure to check us out on Sundays. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the show. And remember, if you know the truth, you can speak the truth. And the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.